How are you amazing people doing today? We are back with another Surron video. Today, I want to tell you guys about the controller I just installed. This is a Torp TC1000 controller. It is designed for a maximum throughput of 50 kilowatts, which is only 10 kilowatts less than the stock Varg. The reason there are these metal tabs is so that I can take something like my Aperture MC right here and just go ahead and magnetically mount it there for some nice little night riding, underglow, that type of thing. So this is also my new handlebar setup. I have the Torp display. I got the full color one as well. I have it mounted upside down so the display can be a little bit higher. If it's mounted the other way, it's a little lower and not so much in your field of view. I have my phone mount, my trusty phone mount. It's never tight enough. And then of course I have the turn signals. The brake light doesn't light up when I hit the brakes, but it does when I hit the horn button. So like watch this. If I hit that horn button, this guy will flash and light up and let everybody know behind me that I'm braking. So I have to like brake and hit the horn button at the same time. The way I wired this up is not that difficult, honestly. I'll probably make a different video about that if you guys do want to see how I wired up these turn signals. The only thing I don't really like, aside from the fact that the brakes don't actually do the brake, is the fact that I don't have front turn signals. So like it's not a full road legal conversion kit, but you can also find those online. I get 3 different modes: Eco, which is the like number 1, Daily, it's number 2, and then Sport is number 3. So I usually go on Daily. You can tune all these options like to whatever you want. The Daily mode has like a fair amount of power, but it's not like anything insane. You can't loop yourself while going on Daily mode. Eco mode has an actual 30 miles per hour limit that I put on there because I wanted Eco mode to be as efficient as possible. So if you're on Eco mode for an entire charge, I'd say you could probably get like 30-35 miles out of it. You get an efficiency reading that tells you how many watt hours you're using per mile. But they have that metric and they have the battery percentage, and obviously they know how many watt hours you have left, but they don't give you a range count. Like there's not a simple little graph that tells you how many miles you have left on your bike. I've been asked how much of a speed increase the Torp controller gives me, and I gotta say, it's not that much. One thing this controller comes with is an option called field weakening, which lowers the strength of the magnetic field in the magnet. Complicated electrical stuff, but essentially what it does is it can make the motor operate at a higher top speed. So if I turn on field weakening, I can get 51 miles an hour GPS verified. The only drawback though is because you're using a stock controller at the stock voltage and stock current, field weakening will make the motor get really hot really quick. So you can't maintain that top speed for a long time at all. It's like 5 minutes before you gotta let it cool down. However, without field weakening, you do get 5 more miles an hour. You can do 45 miles an hour. This guy bumps your bike's wattage from 6 kilowatts peak to 7.3, I believe. It's not actually 8, but it is still better. The Torp controller taps into your brake sensors and make it so when you're driving along normally and you let go of the throttle, it will just coast. It will literally act like a mountain bike. It won't do any kind of regen. It won't slow you down at all. But when you tap on your brakes a little bit, that's like tapping, right? Like this is off, this is on, this is on, this is on, this is on. It's an on-off switch for the brake. That is your regen switch, and you can even customize how much regen that does. So if I wanted to have super strong regen when I press my brakes, the battery would be collecting a lot of power, but then my brake pads wouldn't even have any wear because now that's what's telling it to have that regen slow down. This new controller is just like so much better. I remember like driving up and down my road right as soon as I installed it and being like, wow, this is like a different bike. Because previously, you go in the throttle a little bit, right? And you let go, and it slows you down. You're like, oh! But no, this one doesn't even do that. You can just go along completely free. Like, look at this. Very little deceleration. It is so nice. And you might be thinking like, wait, well, if it's not always doing the regen when you're not having a throttle on, wouldn't that be less time overall that the regen is applied? It doesn't really seem like it. As I said before, it feels like the range is a little bit better, if anything. I just ordered the new battery. I don't know how long Shy takes to send their batteries out, but I just ordered it. Hopefully we can make a video on that soon with the new battery. Supposedly, I can put 12 kilowatts into the motor, which is like 4.3 thousand watts more. I've been diligently working on my wheelies. However, it just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting the technique down wrong because I just don't feel like I'm making any progress. But we stay trying. In the famous words of my buddy Nicky30, never give up, never what. And we're like literally keeping up with traffic going 45 here. I always want to like hit this button with my foot. But then I realize if I do that, I'll probably fall off my bike, die. Horrible, painful death. So I've seen some people do wheelies where they put their entire foot on the back seat and then they put the bike up in the air. They do that on like Tudios, which seems like it would work for like, you know, less powerful bikes. But I have a more powerful bike. So I wonder if I could get away with doing that as like an easy way to wheelie. Because the way Surron X says to do it, where you just put in a sport mode and try it real quick. It just seems like so, I don't know. It seems not efficient. How's it going, boss?
So hopefully the audio wasn't super janky right here, but we're doing this again, I guess. Recently, I don't feel like I felt the same passion towards my hobbies and stuff as I have in the past. If you want to feel better about yourself, don't be passive about it. If you want to feel like you matter, go out to eat sometimes. Treat yourself sometimes. Reward yourself for hard things and enjoy it. Smile. Tell yourself to enjoy it. Life's way too short to always be down on yourself and always be only praising other people. Because guess what? Other people don't see themselves like you see them. They see themselves like you see you.
One little bit of advice that I have for new Surron owners is because your bike costs so much, obviously you're probably going to want a way to kind of like insure it, safeguard it against thieves, right? These bikes are notorious for getting stolen in like bigger cities, more populated areas, and definitely the fact that there's a key is really helpful. If you want to steal a Surron, all you have to do is take off the key cover, short the two little. You need a GPS enabled tracker. You need a bike lock, like a pretty tough one generally. And then I would advise you also get a motion triggered alarm. Because what a lot of people do when they can't get the other two is they get a motion triggered alarm that you can own and you can walk away from your bike and it just beeps if it gets stolen. One of the reasons people will buy a Surron Lite BX and not a Talaria, not a E-Ride Pro SS 3.0 is because of the ridiculous amount of aftermarket support these bikes have. You can get body kits, you can get all kinds of stuff. You can get mods you don't need for the Surron Lite BX. Surron Lite BX has like the most amount of aftermarket support out of any bike, even if it is a little less powerful. This is crazy. This is like, I know a spot almost. At the moment with the new controller, stock motor, stock battery, the motor and the battery both have some overheating issues. So if you do try to go 30 miles on this bike with the stock motor, stock battery, and the aftermarket controller, just know you will run into overheating issues. The bike will probably slow itself down a little bit just because the battery gets so hot. Now, I have a theory that when I get the new battery, because it's going to be 81 volts instead of 66 volts, it'll be able to use a little less current to get the motor to go, which will keep the motor a little bit cooler. And because it's an aftermarket battery, it's designed to run with really high performance motors, I also think the battery itself is going to run a little cooler. But we'll definitely have to put that to the test when Shai sends me my battery. But yeah, there's not too many spots I know of that can get you this close to the freeway. This road is always super calm. It's like nobody really ever goes on it. I'm going to check out this place back here. I don't know if I've been down here before. Yo, there's another bike! Again, another cool thing about the Torp controller is the fact that you can see the temperature right here. There's just like almost nothing here just because I live kind of in the middle of nowhere. I took off the original Surron display that lets you change it from sport to daily. I just thought it looked a lot more clean without it and it was less wires going into the little keyhole thing. The one not so great side to that is the fact that doing that sacrifices your horn. With the new controller, the new display, the new like mode toggle switch, you don't get a horn button. This little guy's optional, so you don't actually have to get it. But to keep your horn with a Torp display, you have to keep the other display on here too. So that's two things showing you the miles an hour. As you can see, we're on 50%. We've been kind of moderately riding the bike, no eco mode. and it already says limit BMS temp. Halfway through the battery, and the battery monitoring system is already getting to high temperature. On a slightly different note, I recently got new shoes. These are black and red, so they're like super tough. I'm kind of iffy about the bigger sprocket, just because I know it'll give me more torque, but I do really like the top speed. However, when I get the full kit that will let me go 47, 50 kilowatts, I'm probably going to go ahead and get the bigger sprocket, just because even with the bigger sprocket, I'm definitely going to be able to get a good top speed. The cool thing though is that with Milk Racing, not sponsored or anything, they have a full configurator, and they'll allow you to get, you know, completely custom front and back wheels with tires and a sprocket and a chain for $1,000, which seems like a pretty good deal. So I don't think I've done the proper walk around of the bike right now as it is. Seen the handlebars, I told you about them. We have these aftermarket grips from Scott. It looks like I just bought these at a local motorsports store. Of course, we got the Luna float seat, grippy as ever. It is pretty comfortable. It's more comfortable than the stock seat, but like not by much. This isn't like a couch to sit on. It's still pretty firm. We took the white Surron sticker off, put the red Torp on. I think it goes a lot better with the black and red. There's the big old GPS. The thing is huge because of the battery. Of course, we got the red foot pegs. This one has a scratch on the side just because one of those little bends I went through got a little too close and scratched it up. But yeah, for the most part, this bike is stock, you know, some vanity mods. I do have a couple of things to add to this bike on the list, like probably a red spring, a red triangle here, a couple more small details to make, you know, the red pop out a little bit more. If you guys have any ideas for like stickers or graphics or something like that that are mostly black and then some red, let me know. I'm always down to take some suggestions. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed the video. That new battery is coming very soon. Hopefully that will get rid of a lot of the overheating issues, but I'm going to let this bad boy charge, and I will see you next time.